OL-Cesium, the third dimension for OpenLayers. So it's also about a community. It's an open source project. It's in the OpenLayer organization, and it's driven by a community. It's not a company project. So, hello everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you. My name is Guillaume Beraudo. I'm the OL-Cesium maintainer for almost 10 years now. I work at Camp to Camp on projects involving OpenLayers and Cesium. Yeah. If you look on the right, you will see it's how I look like in GitHub. So if you look for me on GitHub, it's me. Now you know it. Alors, to really understand, let's go on how it looks like when you are not using OL-Cesium. So in the center, you have your application, and this application is using OpenLayers on the left and Cesium. The problem with that architecture is that you have a lot of duplication. So imagine you have a point, you want to bring your point to your screen. Then for OpenLayer, you need to create a feature, add the feature to a source, and this source in a layer, and then define some styling, and it ends up on your screen. And if you want the same on Cesium, you need to do duplicate work. You create what they call a geometry or an entity, put it in a data source, define the styling, the same, if you want the same thing, and then it displays on your globe. So that's not really optimum. Really, there is this duplication of code, you really don't want that, and it's custom code. So it's really, you write some code that is specific to this application. It's code spaghetti, you get code everywhere, dealing with Cesium. You don't want that. Also, you have more things to do. Of course, you want to see the same thing in 2D and in 3D. Then you need to synchronize the view, you need to remember your maps. And now, if you have layers that are dynamic, then again, you need more work. So we thought about that almost 10 years ago, and we came up with this solution. So we rewind everything, and we start again from the start. We have the application, is using OpenLayer, and it's nice. It works like you want. Don't modify anything. Now we add OL-Cesium. So we add the dependency, we pass it your OpenLayer map, and then OL-Cesium will look into it, and it will do the work of creating a one-for-one matching 3D globes with Cesium. It's automatic, in the good case. What's really interesting, of course, it does the thing for you, so that's very nice, it's quicker, yeah, but that's not the most important thing. The most important thing for me is that we are passing from custom code and spaghetti to a generic code. The code that is created into OL-Cesium, it's a generic. Before, we had specific code for every application you wrote. You would write some specific code. Now, with this solution, the code that is in OL-Cesium is generic. It works with any application. So it's reusable. And it hides you all the math problematics. It's done in one place. It's external to your application. Your application becomes easier, cleaner, simpler. So, yeah, it's 10 years ago. Now I'm looking back and thinking, is OL-Cesium the good design? Is it doing what we expect from it today? And really, as maintainer, I really thought about that, and I really think the design of OL-Cesium is the good one. So, like I explained, something really separate. Thinking about how to handle any application, and also in a generic way, in a flexible way. So it's not depending on any UI framework. It's OpenLayers and Cesium, and that's everything. It's not forcing you on some specific OpenLayer version or some specific Cesium version. It supports a wide range of OpenLayer version, of Cesium version. You, as the user, is providing it. You provide the OpenLayer version you want. It can be a fork, it can be anything in the range supported, and it works. Same for Cesium. You provide what you want. You can have extended Cesium. You just provide it. It's super simple. And this, I think, is really killer feature of OL-Cesium. The other point is that it does a lot of things automatically. That's very nice. But sometimes you want more. You want something more special. And then you can see OL-Cesium as a toolkit. So inside OL-Cesium, there are many things. And you can just... And it's just a library. It's a JavaScript library. You just depend on that. And you go and pick the parts you want. You want just the transformation of vector data from OpenLayer to Cesium, just pick that, and you will only pay for that. If you want to have the synchronization of the view in anything, any other situation, just use that. So it's extremely flexible. 10 years ago, OL was very good at 2D. Cesium was very good at 3D. And I think that nowadays, it's still the same. In the same situation. OpenLayer has evolved a lot. It can do GeoTIFF, it can do many more things. We are coming back to WebGL also. So it's really alive and it's really going forward. Cesium is really the same, very alive, a lot of the dynamic. It's really the library you want if you want 3D tiles, if you want terrain, if you want a navigation that is not kind of a pseudo 2D. If you really want 3D navigation, you want immersion, you want Cesium. What should we do now? What's the work to be done as a project? Of course, there is the basis of everything. So that's what has been done since the beginning of the library, is making sure that it works with new version of OpenLayer and new version of Cesium. I don't remember, but OL-Cesium, it was created with OpenLayer 3. Olivia explained we are now OpenLayer 7. A few major versions, it still works. It works with OpenLayer 7. It also works with OpenLayer 6. It's very flexible. Not anymore with the 3, I think. For Cesium, you may know that there is a new major version every month. Every month, the first day of the month, it goes out, and with some breaking change or anything. I think Cesium is now version 100, 110, maybe something like that. And we support from Cesium 60, I think. So it's really up to you what you want to use or what you have to use because of other constraints. But we also want to support the latest. Then there is the code itself. It's normal code, it's JavaScript. It started with a Clojure compiler, it was typed, everything. Then we moved to plain JavaScript ES6 modules. And now we would like to go to TypeScript. I think that TypeScript, it's really the way to have good and maintainable code. We want to have the code of the library in TypeScript. We want to publish type. It's really how people nowadays they work, what they expect from a library is to have code completion, the documentation directly inside the editor. We want to do that. It's 10 years ago, so we moved to the new stuff, but we didn't really remove the old thing. So we are still supporting Internet Explorer 11 or this kind of thing. I think now it's enough about that. We want to focus on ES6 platform. So everything that is before ES6 we want to remove that in the future. Voilà. And like we saw just before, Olivia showed there is a lot of things working, happening in OpenLayers, and new features coming. Would be very great if a newer OL-Cesium version could introspect these new features and create equivalents into Cesium automatically, or at least to have all the things to help you do that. So I don't know, for example, there is GeoTIFF in OpenLayers. We could have the same in Cesium automatically. That's also depending on you. What do you want? What do you need? And come in, contributing what you rely on and what you expect. Another interesting thing is vector tiles. So OpenLayers is supporting vector tiles with some limitation, but also with some very good points like local projection. It does work with OpenLayers. There is work also to have it more speedy with WebGL. That's ongoing. But still is useful. Still, at Cape2Cape, we are using it for several years for some clients. We are using the OpenLayer renderer, vector tile renderer, to render vector tiles into Cesium. You may know Cesium doesn't support vector tiles, Mapbox vector tiles. It's just not part of Cesium, but we add that to Cesium. So today it's really simple one. We only do with a subset, just lines. We use that for rendering a road network, a hiking network. It's definitely possible to do that for the full range of styling and capability of vector tiles supported in OpenLayer. The goal is really to have the same thing in 2D, in your 2D map with OpenLayer and in Cesium. If you use the same renderer, that's just the best you can expect. There were also work on the client-side raster reproduction. I didn't push that very much at that time. I don't remember there was some corner case not working. So just put that on the side. Today, I'm really thinking that could really help people. People using OpenLayer map, often they are using local projection. Clearly, if they don't have to do something special for their Cesium, and it reasonably goes on to 3D, that would be really cool. So I don't know if something that you have had problem with, but if it is, just come in, just discuss, let's discuss that together, let's find the financing and the momentum to move forward and to evolve for everyone. Yes, that's why I put also the 3 points. It's all open. I mean, it's a community project. There is no company really behind that. It's OpenLayer community. It's you. So just come in with your needs, and it's how open source works. Everyone has different needs. Everyone participates to the project, and it benefits to the community. The community. OL-Cesium is really popular. I don't do a lot for that, but it's just popular. And if you go on GitHub, you'll see there are so many stars, so many forks, so many people watching it, and it's used broadly. We have just in GitHub, it's saying 63 dependent projects. We have a few contributors. Of course, the main contributors are not so numerous, but we have contributors. Not much sponsor, so Cape2Cape is doing a lot, but we could have more. Well, that's a fact. It's really popular. This year we organized a code sprint. Actually, it was the first code sprint of OL-Cesium, and it was done in Bussigny, in the Camp office as part of the OSGO global OGC and OSGO code sprint. We had a big team. There were 9 persons in the OL-Cesium team. I was very surprised, so much interest. And we worked on a few things that was interesting. So here are the people that worked on it, and what they did was starting working on this TypeScript migration, the long-standing extrusion feature that was asked for someone. It was implemented. It was not that hard, actually. We worked on newer version of Cesium. There was some regression in Cesium, so we fixed that, fixed the example. We did some memory optimization. We did. Fred worked on the memory optimization, Anita on the examples, Pedro on the extrusion, Vlad on the TypeScript migration, and me trying to help everyone get into it. My goal, really, as a maintainer, is not anymore to really work, to do all the work, but it's to be welcoming, to give everything I can to the contributors, to help grow the community and make it easy to come and contribute to OL-Cesium. For that, what I want to do is to enable GitHub discussions. Now it's possible to have discussion directly in the open, directly in the project. I want to enable that. I want that all discussion we have, it's in the open. I want we have a regular meeting that the community can meet together. We had this OL-Cesium code sprint. It was very great. And really thinking we need to have regular face-to-face, even if it's online, with the community. Kind of a scrum with some review regularly, where we do a summary of what happened when we are transparent about it. I want a better getting started documentation. We didn't move it from 10 years ago. I think it needed good documentation. I think it will come with TypeScript migration. I would like we have the examples directly editable live, so deployed example, you click on the button and you are in a code pen, something like that, and you can experiment and do stuff without having to do complicated stuff, exactly like in OpenLayers. And I would like we really try our best to flag issues as a good first-time contribution so that it's easy to get into the project and to contribute something. Voilà, so I'm Guillaume Beraudo. OL-Cesium is a third dimension for OpenLayers. It's a community project. It's your project. I really welcome you, and I'm listening for your question now.